Here's the question of this entire video. Would love to know your thoughts. What do you think about your manager coming to your home to appeal to your work ethic when you are sick? That is what I want to talk about. Okay, so let me set this up for you really quick because I was reading this article just this past weekend, and this is happening in Germany. And it says that German Tesla managers are visiting the homes of sick workers to appeal to the employees' work ethic. It's from a factory, right? It's what they say. So here is the gist of this entire article, which I think is interesting. I'll just say interesting. So it says a director of Tesla's Gigafactory in Berlin sent managers to check on about 30 sick employees. And this was, of course, a paid visit for them. Now, employees didn't take kindly to these managers showing up. Some of them even called the police. There was some slamming of doors and faces. And, you know, personally, if you come to my house when I have called out sick, yeah, we are going to have some words because that's going too far. But let me get back to the story. So it says that in this particular factory, they are doubled down on the company's decision to visit sick workers. They really want to do this. And why? They believe that there is a widespread use of sick days is a result of workers taking advantage of Germany's policy that grants employees full pay for 6 weeks of leave. And about 5% more employees take sick leave on Fridays and late shifts compared to other work days. All right, so let me get to this really quick. And this goes back to my point about how the relationship between employee and employer is clearly broken. It is fractured. People get sick because they're human. People get sick for a number of reasons, okay? And all illnesses aren't always something you can see. Now, clearly, if you have a cold, flu, any kind of viral something, you just stay home, right? If your gut's acting all kinds of wonky, don't bring it to the office because, that's just not great. But then there's that illness that you don't see, the emotional, that no matter what you try to do, you just can't get yourself together. I remember waking up one day during the pandemic and I called my boss and said, I can't stop crying. I just can't. I just cannot stop crying. Now, this wasn't a, hey, I'm not feeling great, I can work from home. It was, I can't get my mind right. That you can't see. And she's like, you know what? Take the day. And I didn't work. Quick little time out. In my former life, I was a training and quality assurance manager. So wrote training, created a program, did hiring, recruiting, managed people, the whole 9 yards. But I started my job as a part-timer in college. So I never left that mindset of, I'm here to do this job, I'm gonna go home and call today. So that was always there. But when I became a manager, I fully understood that when you're sick, you are sick. There's no need to work. The whole idea of taking the day is to not work. So when people would be, they would call and say, hey, well, I can work from home, I'm just not feeling great. No, if you're sick, you're sick. Just don't work. And if you are full-time, and at our company, there were hours of PTO, right? That people who were part-time could use towards sick days. So if you got the money to pay for it, then just don't work. Don't work. I feel if you're sick, you're sick. You don't work. Plain and simple. That's my thought on that. Let's get back to it. Okay, so according to this article, they believe that workers are taking these sick days and they're taking advantage of it because they always get sick on Friday. They always get sick when there's a long shift and they end up with 4-day weekends or something. If you're working on Wednesday and you're feeling the bug, there's a part of you that says, well, maybe I can make it. Maybe I can get through this. So Thursday, you come in and you're really 50-50, but you're still pushing through. So by Friday, you're like, you know what? I just can't. I can't deal. But I'm going to take this Friday and the weekend, and I'll be better for Monday or whatever your next shift is. That is, in my opinion, most of an employee's mindset. But here's what goes too far. You should never come to my house and ask me if I'm really sick and just how sick am I? And do you recognize that when you're sick, your coworkers have to pick up your slack and it makes the job harder for them? Okay, so humans get sick the same way that your computer breaks down, your manufacturing machines break down. There is a limit, and humans have a limit, and we get sick. And if people don't rest, then all hell breaks loose. Somewhere in this world, we got to thinking that rest is a reward. It is a requirement. I need days away to get my mind right, because if I don't get my mind right, shit's gonna pop off. Plain and simple. That's why we have vacations. To say, get away from all the huss and fuss. Go take some time, go meditate, come back to like ground zero. Do what you gotta do to get this together. Because everybody hits a wall at some point. But the audacity to come knocking on my door because you believe I'm taking advantage of a policy. What? And this is why we are in the state we're in right now. When it comes down to work, how we work, and do I want to stay in this relationship with this company? It's ridiculous. And I will tell you, as I wrap this up, I was that kid. I was the kid who decided that even though I needed a surgery, I wasn't going to take it until after the sale period. So here's the story real quick. My body does crazy things, okay? And at this one point, there was a cyst. There was a cyst that I could see in my abdomen area, right? And I thought, okay, well, is it bad? Because it didn't give me any pain, but it got to the point where I could literally touch the cyst. Okay, so ew, like gross. I go to my doctor and I lie about how long this cyst has been there because he's wanting to do surgery that day. And I was like, hey doc, I got a plan for some stuff. And all I could think of was being available to work my shift during this busy sales season time. How ridiculous is that? Putting my health on the line for somebody else's money. Yeah. Now, clearly I had the surgery after the sales season, and we clearly don't think that way anymore, but that is what so many of us do. We put our life on the line all the time for someone else's dream and someone else's betterment, and we don't think about our own health. I am telling you now, the hustle and bustle and grinding yourself until you are no longer but a shell of who you are, it ain't even worth it. So if you are sick, you take your sick days. And I know it's hard because some of us can't afford to be sick. Been there and done that. I understand it. I'm not saying this lightly. But what we're not going to do is believe that anybody who I work with has the right to come to my door and question if I am sick or not.